Hello. I'm reviewing a pretty small batch, sort of rare beer here. Hopefully they'll brew it a bunch more and can it more. It's Sweeper from Cold Harbor. So Cold Harbor is in Westboro, Massachusetts. That's like 15 minutes from Worcester, maybe even less. And they've been around for a while, been to the brewery twice, and last time I went, they had some cans. They've been doing, I think, the mobile canning unit. And had a taste of this one. It was pretty good. It is double dry hop with Galaxy. This is the second time they brewed Sweeper, but the first time it was draft only. It was stronger, and it looks like they used Citra, but this time it just says double dry hop Galaxy. And it's 8%. It was canned exactly 15 days ago on January 18th. And let's just jump into it. I've been drinking a lot of Galaxy IPAs and realized that I do like Galaxy and IPAs, but now I'm getting a little tired of it. It just seems like my hop preference switches around depending on my mood and how much of a certain hop I've been drinking. I still think that Citra is my favorite, and I never get tired of that one. But let's take a taste of this one. Yeah, this is not one of their double IPAs that they've been brewing for a couple years. This is a pretty new one. It looks very nice. Very nice head. I reviewed their more sort of flagship IPA, Feather Edge, last week. It looked very similar. This is a little bit more dense, as you might think it would be from a double IPA, but even with all that haze and everything, the head is looking quite beautiful. Some thick, dense foam, but then also the soapy bubbles tell you that, I don't know, it always tells me that it's good quality beer, that it has a nice quality head and good retention. And that is Explosion of Galaxy. Yep, it's got all the unripe tropical fruits, but then there's kind of like a candy, like Smarties thing happening in this one too. Yeah, when my girlfriend popped open a can a couple days ago, she immediately was like, "Ooh, it smells like candy." And then like I had a taste of it, I was like, "Whoa, that's still pretty dank green Galaxy." But before taking a sip, it has some candy-like notes, even though I can tell it's gonna have some mentholy greenness happening in the flavor. Head's looking good. Already got some lacing on there. Yeah, it's a weird mixture of like sugared dried tropical fruits like mango, but then also unripe tropical fruits like pineapple. Along with this not quite creamy, but more just like Smarties generic sweet candy aroma. I'm not getting any booze or any weird phenolic qualities or medicinal stuff happening. Yep, good aroma. Pretty full feel. And then it turns into like almost a nutty, malty quality. It isn't all juice on the tongue. And that's how most of these New England style IPAs are. They usually are really fruity, candy-like in the aroma, but then I get more green, dank qualities and savory qualities in the flavor. And that's what I noticed about Cold Harbor's Feather Edge IPA. It's pretty good, but there's something in the flavor that just isn't coming through with all the fruits and all the juiciness that you expect. It has been getting very high ratings because, it does a really good job. It looks good. It feels great. Smells great. But then, it's pretty bitter, and there is this interesting, almost chocolatey quality to it. I'm not sure if it's just like from the malt, because it's very pale, but it almost seems like there's like a toasty malt malt thing happening in this, but it could also just be what happens at the yeast, and there are a million things that could create that flavor. But it doesn't, even though it's a low estery yeast profile and it's clean, and the way that I usually say, like, how I like clean New England IPAs that aren't giving out Belgian yeast sort of flavors that are too estery and bubblegummy or too phenolic and spicy and medicinal. This doesn't have that, but it has this other weird flavor to it that I feel like is preventing it from being super duper luscious and juicy and fruity on the body. It still pumps you with the Galaxy, the green menthol sort of things coming in, eucalyptus. It's going to overtake your face with green, intense Australian hops for sure. But I just wish it had a little bit more fruitiness in the feel, or in the taste, and on the tongue, all that stuff. So I would like, maybe give it a 4. They could tweak it, probably, and make it a little bit better. I think in part it's just Cold Harbor's sort of house quality. They create these pretty dry beers that are a little bit toasty and a little bit savory on the tongue and in the finish. I guess it's pretty dry and bitter. They say 60 IBUs, but of course, the way we measure IBUs doesn't make any sense with how we experience the bitterness in these kinds of beers. But I guess I'd probably recommend it. They'll probably only get better. This is the first time I've ever canned this beer. But I feel like I might like their beers that use some more fruitier hops like Citra. I don't know if they ever used Mosaic there, but I've only had a couple of their beers. But this is pretty good. I would tentatively do a 4. They just need to, I don't know. I just wish the finish were a little less savory. It's like spicy, woodsy, musky, resiny. And now the nose is getting more of that interesting toasty, like, dare I say, chocolatey sort of quality going on in there. Husky, I don't know if that's right, but a lot of people like this one. There's nothing severely horrible about it. It's still a pleasant drinking experience, but I'm gonna still try Cold Harbor beers, but not my number 1 favorite, but it has a lot of great things going for it. Goodbye.